It worked. Hey, home theater nerds. Hey. Welcome to the Right Side Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
Were we afraid it wasn't going to work?
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, okay.
Always.
You don't usually start with that, so.
Nope. Yeah, I'm kind of mixing it up. Here we go. And this is show 469. How do you like that, huh?
Oh,
how do you like them
hey.
apples? Yeah? Huh? That's new. We're going to send the AI for a loop.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they're doing... Oh, what was it yesterday? The AI said Bright Side Home... What is it? I can't remember what it said. Bright Side Home something. It wasn't theater or something like that. I can't remember how it mixed it up. I'm like, that's an awful... interpretation of whatever I said, but it was probably my accent or whatever. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I was like, okay, there we go. All right.
Good news, Deej. I've listened to all of Takeover Tuesday today. I mean, check me out.
3 times.
Yes, yeah.
3 times to fill up an hour. I was like, oh man. It was at the end too. I was like, oh wow, that didn't do well. I didn't filibuster as much as I normally do. It was a little busy, guys. A little busy.
Hey man, no, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. Good.
Like an extended trailer, really.
Yes,
it's fine. But it was fine.
I know when people. It's so funny because I do get those. I don't get them as much anymore, but I used to get. Remember, our shows used to be like 3 hours long, and it's like, I would get emails on both sides. Your show's too long, and then other people when we go short, your show's too short. I need the 3 hours for my community, and you'd get like the same amount, and you'd say to I'm just doing what I can do, and they're like, yeah, but it usually was with the people where it was too long. And they're like, yeah, but you don't understand. It's a non-starter if it's 3 hours. Okay, I don't know you exist. I was like, what's the problem? I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I can't, because I have just as many people saying they want that, and I am who I am, and you're going to be the listener that you are. Okay. It's like, if I start catering to everybody, I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, on Mondays, we're going to do a 1 hour show. On Tuesdays, we're going to do a 3 hour show.
Yeah.
So
take your pick.
Just do what we do. And it's like, really, we ended up here. We'd still go over 2 hours if we weren't confined to the hours that we have. Really, right? It's it's hard for it's hard for us, especially Steven. John, he's got to pee, so he's happy.
I can't.
At the 2 hours.
2 hours is about it for me. So,
well, I did have a client. Anyone with a weak stomach, turn off your listening device now. I had a client at the weekend. I kid you not, fellas, right? Who was unhappy at the fact that he'd been arrested, and he has a catheter bag. And decided to empty it all over the charge desk to police officers and himself.
Sweet.
So talk about a pissing nuisance. But anyway, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's just say when I turned up, I said, I'm not dealing with him unless he has a shower.
That's an interesting way to get around the indecent exposure charge. Take it out and stop pissing all over the place and be like, that's insulting, but not only that, we're going to charge you with indecent exposure. Right, oh no, you're not. I got a bag. It's like
tag and bag him.
He brought his own special water balloon. Like, what the hell?
And to give you some idea, when I got there, probably about an hour after it had happened, and the officers
for it to air out,
and they were. The officers walk in and goes, "Yeah, I can still smell it, Sarge."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Well, there we go.
To really make matters worse, he ate 3 pounds of asparagus before.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Oh gosh.
God.
Anyway, so there we go. But that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, that was.
Not that I'm saying that you need a catheter, John. I'm just saying that there are other options after 2 hours.
There are. You're right.
Adult diapers, for instance.
Oh man. But there we go. Yeah. So yes, the whole of the takeover.
Actually,
Tuesday
weren't the adult diapers in the Bright Side Home Theater Lord of the Rings package?
I don't know, but if I get to that day, I'm just out. I'm checking out. So.
Yeah, checking out. Okay. Next week,
we
lost John. Himself.
Even if they've got the Bright Side logo on them, I mean, it's quite cool.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as they're clean for when I turn up in the emergency room.
Yeah,
my mom won't be mad.
That's what my mom always said. You better have on clean underwear. I don't know why. That was great.
But what I did take from the takeover Tuesday,
I don't either. I apologize for honestly.
I brought the tone down, and I apologize for that. What I did take from the extended trailer of the takeover Tuesday was that
I love it.
It's not just you're not the only one that gets emails from our friend G. Cornell. The man's an email machine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I swear I get 2 or 3 a day.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like, it's funny. It's like there's another one that is apropos to what we're going to talk about in a second. I got a question for you guys after we get to the chat, but it's from G. Cornell, but it's also apropos to, something triggered me earlier. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention it in yesterday's show. The show could have been a whole 5-10 minutes longer, Steve. And I forgot, I got a lot on my mind. The places to go, people to see, things to do, and I was like, all right. And I was like, I was like, oh, I mean, I also forgot a comment. Let me see if it's here. Nope, not there. Nope, not there. All right. See, I don't even have the comment, but I had saved a comment and it's not on my laptop now. So, but there was another comment too. So there's a whole 15 more minutes.
See? Yeah, man. See, so it's more of a special presentation than an extended trailer then.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hierarchy of
pressure, guys. The pressure. Yeah.
The pressure. Alrighty. All right. Shall I do the chat then?
Hit the chat. Let's get to them.
TSG dropped in way earlier this afternoon. Says happy Tuesday and said he was about to watch a Minecraft movie. Ooh, fair play.
Yeah.
I am Steve.
Yeah, dropped on Kaleidoscape today. I was surprised. I didn't think it'd be out this early.
Curious to see what you make of it, Deej, in terms of its 4K quality. It should be really good. Alrighty. And then Mikey Schramm is in as well. Dropped in after that. Gurinder was in. Steve Att was in the chat. I don't know if he's still in. Say hi, guys, if you are. Paul Hertz in. We know. Hey, Paul. We got Marcus Beebe is in, saying he's enjoying Andor on Disney. Well, maybe more about which later. Maybe. Rach is in. Hey, Rach. We've got who else? There was Scruffy's in. Hey, Scruffy. Dom's in. Bonsoir, Marcus. Dom. Jack Lee's in. Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
John, do you want to do your party piece?
I'll pass.
Oh, boo. I
don't want our Aussie listeners rioting.
Hey, they'll be chuffed. You've been partaking of their culture all week.
I have. You're right.
Yeah. So Beth's in as well. Hey, Beth.
Beth's in. Nice.
Extras in. Yeah. Don Hensley's in. Hey, Don. Nelson's in. Some confusion about the movie Warfare.
Come on,
guys. I know.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen. Have you seen Warfare?
I've seen the opening of it.
Oh, okay.
And, that, if anything, if you said to me, place your bet for home theater experience of the year, that is where my money will be at the moment. Bear in mind, it's Alex Garland.
Yeah.
Is it out? Is it come out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right,
let me see. Yeah, let me see. It's oh nope, that's not what I want. Where did it go? Yeah, Warfare right here. $24.99. Vision 4K Dolby Vision Dolby Atmos. I just haven't had time. I mean, literally haven't had time to watch anything or anything. But it's true story of a Navy SEAL platoon surveillance mission gone dangerously wrong in an unflinching portrayal of brotherhood, sacrifice, and survival. Yeah.
Just beware. That'll bring on headaches in and of itself.
Oh, I bet.
It's a full blown proper war experience.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting. All right. So Martin J's in as well. Hey Martin. Lane Smith's in and Jordan is dropped in as well. So we're all here. Present and correct.
Nice.
On parade.
Going strong. Strong. Yeah. And Steve Att saying still here. Yep.
What I'm saying. Good man.
Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
what's your question? Question us. We're ready.
So question, we've answered this question so many times.
Is it about where the babies come from again?
Yeah. I like answering that question. Yeah, exactly. It's not about as much where they come from, it's how they got there. That's the important question.
True.
All right. Moving on. So, how that stork got them. Anyways, here's the question. And we say it all the time, and I'm setting you up, but what's more important, picture or the sound in a movie?
Oh, please, sir.
Yeah,
Please, sir.
exactly. And we all, for decades, I've been saying, and John, I think, still says same thing, sound, right? What is more important? What gets you into stuff like that? And now I had a different take on it because of something that our buddy G. Cornell said. In one of his emails, he mentioned, I can't remember the context of it in the email, but it said something like, he put it this way, G. Cornell's not a fan of HDR, right? He's one of those listeners that is not a fan of HDR. He likes it closer to exactly what you get at the theater. And for most of all of our experiences in life, theaters didn't have HDR, right? So that is not a theater environment. And I agree with him. I do agree with him on that. So he says when he sees HDR, he thinks the scenes are lit too much. And I'm like, I never got a chance to reply to him. And I meant to reply yesterday in the chat, but it got me to thinking, because something was said to me earlier, how lighting is so important and how that's the most important part of a picture. Well, yeah, because that's what a picture is. It captures the light. So what's more important, light, picture, or sound? Because if you don't have light and picture, you're listening to the radio. It's like, but what I was going to say to G. Cornell or to anybody, it's like, yes, since HDR or even before HDR, we said it a couple weeks ago. We said it last week, Steve. We mentioned it last week with Dirty Harry, in that they didn't light the scenes the way they do today. They overlight the scenes on purpose because that's how you get the color. That's how you can always dial back, but you can never add light in post. Right? You can't make something that's dark and not there. If you don't capture the picture, if you don't capture the color, you don't capture the vibrancy, you can't add it. But you can always tone that down. And we've always been able to do that. Even going back to the days of film, you could always manipulate the film to take the color and dim it down a little bit. So does that change your perspective on which is more important?
Well, I've always been the outrider on it, because I always thought and still think, to a certain extent, most people, I think, say, again, someone's mentioned it in the chat, it's sort of 55% sound, 45%, video. But for me, I've always been more attracted to the picture. The picture is more important to me than the sound. Yeah. I want both, but if I've got to choose, I will have video over sound, because I just want it to look pristine.
Right.
So yeah.
Otherwise, it's a radio.
Well, quite. Yeah, indeed. It's what brings you to it, isn't it?
Which would be great. Don't get me wrong. Sitting there, imagine if that was a format, no screen, but still a story to be told, not music, but people acting stuff out, the surround sound going, and it's literally the opposite of a book. Right? Like, in a book, you read it and you imagine everything that's going on. Here, it's all being told to you and acted out around you, but now you have to imagine where they are and what they look like in front of you. They might be talking. Imagine how cool that would be, like an actual...
You're like a 1950s radio play with Dolby Atmos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There was a market for that in 1950. I don't know.
Right, but they didn't have Atmos, so it was mono.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if that... I don't know who would be into that.
Well, I've done it. John, you've been over. I've done it. I watch scenes and close my eyes, and I'll sit there and watch, because when you close your eyes to take the picture away, you're hypersensitive to where so imagine with the accuracy that we have with this object-based systems, that you could place the characters where you wanted them in the room. We're going to talk about one later today where the characters are everywhere. Yeah. So when you take the sound away, imagine how much more hypersensitive you are to that, and to be able to localize. Like Steve, you've said you're watching and it's like you could hear that voice or hear that sound right up in front of you. Some of that is done because of what you're seeing on the screen, right? Like the Batman, when he takes that duct tape and goes, and you swear the sound goes up your screen. Some of that is psychosomatic, because you're like, it's not really going up the screen. You just see it, and it's so accurate that you're like, I heard it go right up the screen. No, it didn't. That's in your brain. But imagine if there's no picture and it does go right up the screen. That's entertaining as hell to me. Yeah. It'd be funny to see all these people sitting in a dark theater just listening.
Well, but you get little snapshots of it in Kill Bill Volume 2 when the picture goes and you can only hear it. The start of The Northman, it's just a black screen and you hear that bass note and you can hear the voices and everything else. So when they do play with that, that's quite fun. But it's something I'd only want in small bursts, because again, I want the picture.
Yeah. So I mean, we all get it. I mean, depending on your display and your HDMI handshake, we all get at the start of a movie anyways. You're like, here it goes. No picture.
If you're lucky enough to get your hands on a Dolby Atmos demo disc, I've got one. It's a Blu-ray, but there are sound demos on that with no picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you can choose the different speaker configuration, and then you'll do that. So they've got, planes landing and helicopters moving around.
The birds flying around the room.
Yeah, so you can do that with no picture, just literally just the sound. So there's a version of it in that. Yeah. But I want, obviously, like I said, I want both. But if I have to choose, and they're like, you can either have pristine video and decent sound, or pristine sound and just decent video, I'll go with the video all day long. So that's me, but I know I'm the outlier on that. I know most people are, the other way, but there it is. That's what makes it fun.
So let me ask John then, because you were like me. Does HDR, does all that, has that swayed you at all?
I don't know, because I'll still watch Blu-ray movies and think give me a Blu-ray with a Dolby Atmos mix and I'm happy,
Oh yeah.
Like, I think it's like, I don't want a DVD. I don't want 480p or, even 720, but I think a good, for me, it's still audio, I think. It's close. It was never 80-20 to begin with, it was always, as somebody said, 55%, 60% maybe, and it's probably still closer to that. Maybe it's like 51-49, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I still think, look at Gravity, right? Like, Gravity is a phenomenal experience with Dolby Atmos on Blu-ray, know. Now, if it comes out in 4K, do I want that? Sure.
Right.
Of course I'm going to buy it. But that's an experience that I'm happy to have anytime.
Yeah.
So I still think that, audio, for me, it's audio,
Yeah.
I've got some backup.
Yeah.
Well, it's Paul Hurt for the second
There's always
week in
one.
a row. I'm publicly agreeing with Steve.
It won't last, Paul. It won't last.
Yeah. No, I think for me, I'm probably just like you, John. I don't think it pushed me the other way, but it brings it closer.
It is close.
Because I'm noticing more that I'm appreciating movies. And I've said it, how many times have I said it about a movie? Like, the sound's not that great, but you have to see this picture.
Right.
Where I wasn't saying that before. Right.
Well, even now you're talking about movies you've seen 100 times, but now you're watching them in Dolby Atmos. In Dolby Vision rather. And you're finding more things to appreciate. So
exactly.
Obviously the picture is still important.
Yeah.
But
it's super important. But that right there, I could say, that's a great point, John. It's like, I'm seeing things that I haven't seen before, where it's harder to hear things I haven't heard before, because Atmos brings more out, but not as much, Maybe. I don't know, because the infrasonics is coming along. Who knows where we're going to be in 5 or 10 years? We might all have subwoofers that can hit down that level. And I have experienced that, so I know what that can do.
Right.
And you're like, holy crap, that's been in my DVD, my Blu-ray all along, or DVD, to be fair, because audio's been up to par all along.
Well, yes and no, because, when you added your separates a while back,
yeah,
then
that's
you were talking
improving
about
my system.
Hearing,
right.
Yeah, but
yes.
then you were talking about hearing things in audio that you're talking about the trumpets and Star Wars,
Right.
So equipment or upgrades in equipment will always bring things you haven't seen or heard before.
Right. If you listen to today's Takeover Tuesday, that's one of the things I spoke about.
Okay.
It's a short listen.
It was just in here.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, but that's what I said. It's like, upgrading your equipment it's going to bring out more, but it's always been there. Right. And people, even in the 90s, probably had the same ability to pull out the bass, because there are people that are talking now that laser discs are still superior sound to even Atmos and stuff. They find it more like a fuller sound, because as long as you're hitting the frequency range, everything's there. Now, separation and, how the sound moves in your room, that's a different story. That's a different tech. But the actual frequency range, 20 up to 20K, that's different. And then if you should have been able to pull out, infrasonic back then too, if you had the capability.
Right.
But picture wise, we're at 480 20 years ago.
Right.
And now we're literally 10 times that,
So picture is what has come on much more than sound then over that time, isn't it? Which is kind of what you're talking about with the HT guys, weren't you, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And so we've got Jordan says, I personally prefer picture over sound. I'm just picking out the people that agree with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, randomly selecting.
They're all on that side of the pond.
Yeah.
True. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And then, although Nelson says, I want both. There we go. But I'm with John, prefer the audio.
Yeah.
Like I said, I get it. And I know, like I said, when we talked about this, ages ago, it was the same thing then. I'm the outlier on it because I prioritize that. So I get why people would prefer the sound. But again, I will refer to the venerable Paul Hurt, who says, again, very eloquently, big screen, small sound is still a cinema experience. Big sound, small screen, not so much.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. You could have, exactly. I had a 32-inch television, and I had, for all intents and purposes, big sound, but you're like, okay, you're just, but if you have a huge screen, but the sound isn't up to par, you still have, that's literally going to the movies now compared to our theaters. It's a bigger screen. The sound sucks, but it's bigger than my screen. So that's a cinema experience, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep. There you go. Steve, it's like, I'm audio over picture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But again, the good news is, guys, it's a moot point because most of us listening to this can have both, and we've got both, and we don't have to choose. So it's that's why we're lucky.
I see what he did there too, John. Is like he's preferring picture, so he made it a moot point, and he removed all the sound.
Yeah.
No, that's a mute point. Come on, guys, not moot. Come on, I'm pronouncing the Queen's or King's English here. Come on, guys.
Oh, okay. I see what you did.
We've got a U. We're gonna pronounce it.
We're gonna pronounce it.
Yeah, mute.
Yeah. Okay. What's this? I avoided Captain America in the small theater. Prefer to wait to see it at home. 100%. I agree. Mm-hmm. I've done the same thing. If I can't see it in the big, X Plus cinema, I'm not going to go see it in some inferior, like smaller picture, not great sound. I'll wait till I get it at home, because if I don't have the, the Dolby Atmos at the theater, I don't want to go. It's like, so.
Yeah. Who is Captain American? Is this a new one?
Captain American.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, exactly. Captain American. I didn't pick up on that. That's funny.
I'm not sure anyone's lining up for that.
I don't know. I think there's some people in the Middle East that seem to be quite happy to invest.
Yeah. True.
What I miss.
Anyway. Let's not go there. You don't want to.
Yeah, I was looking at something on another screen. And I'm like, well, they're laughing about something. What I missed? I'm like, uh-oh.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
All right.
John will get all ratty again.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. You want to get to an experience, not a home theater experience per se. Oh, geez. I got to present. Represent. Yeah, exactly. Share screen. Here we go. Entire screen.
Of course. Yeah, because we put a pin in this last week, didn't we? So that John could sally forth.
Oh, no, this one. This is the one.
Sorry.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? This one. This is not a home theater experience. So we'll bring this to the where's it go? Real experience. There we go. All right, here we go. Oh, what do I have to remove now? Remove? Nope, not that one. Let's try that. Oh, what the hell? Removed. There we go.
Hey, there we go.
All right. So this past week I was given the gift of all gifts for home theater people. It's how do you pronounce that, Steve? Is it Vure?
I think it's Vure. Yeah, I think so. I've never heard it pronounced, but I think
me neither. You just
it's not really Vure. So
Vure.
Yeah.
So say it again.
Vulture to me.
Yeah,
I think it's Vure.
Vure for the mature. For the mature. Vure for the mature cinemaphile, I guess. I don't know. So here it is. It's let's see which there and there they are. That's what they look like. All right. So I was gifted these from our friend there we go. From our friend Larissa for, the help that we've been helping around our house and doing all that. And so she calls me up. She goes, I need you to come by. I got to give you something. I'm like, what? And so I'm like, all right. Now, like as I said to you guys earlier, I'm between jobs. I'm like, all right. So I stopped by her house and she's a little gift bag and I open them up. I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's all like, she was mad. I'll get to that in a second. She was mad. But then I was like, all right. And I open them. I'm like, what the heck is this? I open the box. And they have a really nice way of presenting these to you. It's like the box splits open and everything. I didn't make a video. I didn't have time. But so I open it up and I was like, are you effing kidding me? I'm like, because you said, Steve, these aren't cheap. Right. And it's like, so she knows everything I'm going through, with the house, and she watches the show, and she's like, she had heard, her and Jen had talked about me getting these back when you first got yours. And I said, oh, I want these eventually. But then a couple of weeks ago when I said, everything's going into fast motion and I'm losing my theater, so I'm probably going to get a pair. And so she went into fast motion. I got to buy them for him because before he gets them, I want him to have them. All right. So she got them, and they're not, what she's mad about is they're not yours. She did the research. She did all that. And in her hurried state, she grabbed these, but she did read she studied, she did her research, and she's like, these are really good, blah, blah, blah. So, but she felt bad. I'll return them and I'll get Steve's if you want. I'm like, no. Everything happens for a reason. We're going to keep these. And so, but anyway, so I opened the box and I'm like, I tend to get emotional at times. And I'm like, Jesus, like eyes are misty. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're buying these things? So anyways, needless to say, I didn't make it to that next job. That's her. I was just like, and that's her phone you see on the counter. This is at her house because it doesn't connect to my phone. I have to get, I have an iPhone 12, so it needs the USB-C. So I'm already getting that. I almost bought one the other day. I haven't had a chance to get to the Apple store to upgrade because it's been, I have to upgrade mine anyways. So I can't wait to do that. Which is another reason, Steve, I haven't had a lot of opportunity to utilize these.
Yeah, quite.
Because I could do it from my MacBook. But it was harder to do from my MacBook because they're really geared towards using them with your phone and stuff. And they have an app that you can use to really modify more stuff. They have the same app for the MacBook. It's a little harder to do. It's, it doesn't, like the MacBook's going to play 4K And if I have, like, I have Fall Guy and Top Gun Maverick on my MacBook downloaded in 4K, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I go to play it, it won't play through these because it won't play 4K.
Yeah.
But if I go to stream Top Gun Maverick, it will stream it because it won't pull the 4K stream, right? Like our systems do when you watch something on Netflix. So that's great. And I can't, like I said, I can't wait to get the phone so that I can do this and you know,
if it helps,
them everywhere.
Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Apple TV are like that. Netflix, however, is not. You can download anything to your phone from Netflix and they'll play perfectly on the glasses. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but it's true. So they work flawlessly. Also, any 1080p content from Disney Plus. So any old, movies, whatever, that'll play flawlessly as well. Downloaded. You don't have to stream that.
Yeah.
But
So that set of glasses right there in the picture, those are my glasses. Those aren't the glasses. Those are the glasses on my face. I think a couple of the differences, or only big difference I see, actually, yours have 3 different settings of shading.
Yeah, electrochromatic dimming, it's called, apparently.
Right. And you have 3 settings. I'm assuming fully clear, off, dimmed, and then a dim one in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So these ones, I think, as what I've found so far, only have off or on.
Okay.
Or it's actually like black or sunglasses. Like I can see through them, which is weird because you're sitting there and it's like, I could see, like if you're doing computer stuff and you're looking around the room, you're like, oh, okay. And I can see people walk by. But if you're watching a movie, you don't want it. Like I watched Last of Us. I watched like half an episode through them and it was really good. The only thing I haven't found yet, and I don't even know if it's a real feature. I think it is. And I think yours has it, where you can lock the screen.
Yes, exactly.
So you move and the screen stays there. Yes. That's the one thing I haven't found yet. And I think I have to do it with my phone or something, or there is an attachment for, it's like another $400, but the neck piece, which then that you connect that to it and that thing it modifies everything. And it actually gives you could hand features, like you can reach up and do things with it. It seems really like it gets you closer to like the Apple one they call it.
Vision Pro.
The Vision Pro. Yeah.
It's the X-Real, prior to the X-Real ones, which I've got, you used to have to get this thing called a beam, which is just like a box basically. You have to plug into that like you do with these, and that would then give you all these other options. The new X-Real ones that I've got have got an M1 chip built into the glasses. So that obviates the need for your beam, and it's got it in there. So yes, you've got 3. You can have it up in the side, up in the corner. You can have the screen in the corner, and then everything else can be clear if you want it. So that's great for working around the house. And you can, you just look up and you can see it there. You can have follow mode, which is wherever you look, the screen will move. Or you can lock it. And what's cool about the lock mode, especially on the Vision ones, the X-Real ones, is that there's a new thing on it whereby when you look away from it, you can set it so the dimming then turns off automatically. So it said, so if you were on a flight and the cabin crew come up, you've got your screen in front of you, and if they turn there, you turn away, then the screen automatically undims. So you can see them, and then you go back to the screen, and then it dims again. It's very cool.
Does it pause it too?
You can pause it, or you can press a button and make the whole thing go completely transparent as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can do all that, but it's very, very cool.
There might be that feature on this because I did do some stuff where I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm looking on, and then like I'd go to talk, and I would look away. Now it would open up, but I could still hear it playing, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's still going, but now I can see around the room. I mean. These ones here, it's like you can't see a ton around the room. You still have the piece inside coming down, covering like the top half of where you would look. Yeah. Are yours like that as well, or is it? Well,
the dimming's so good on it in terms of the transparency. It just feels like you've got normal glasses on. When it's on transparency mode, you can walk down the road. Normally, you could drive a car with it. I mean, I don't recommend it, but you could.
Oh wow!
It's that clear. Yeah, it's great. The whole thing just disappears when it's not.
These ones aren't like. At least I haven't found. These ones aren't like that. These ones here are more. I would say just more geared towards. Okay, sit down and watch something. Right, yeah. And they are great for that. The sound. Yours have Bose sound. These have Harman. and these sound really good. AirPods are better, but they sound for what's coming through the earpieces, coming down. It's like, and I had it full blast, and I asked her, I'm like, can you hear it? And she's like, not really. You just hear like a little bit. And I'm like, it sounds really good to me. It's like you get pans, you get stuff. It's not
spatial
like Atmos,
audio,
but
yeah, you'll get spatial audio even on the arms.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. But no, I agree. I mean, since I had my glasses, I've upgraded my phone to an iPhone 16 because I wanted to be able to just have the USB-C thing, and that's cool. Prior to that, I was using my iPad, and it's just a bit of a pain to carry around. And yes, I bought AirPod Pro 2s. This was my perfect excuse to upgrade them.
Yeah,
because what you can't do sensibly, and people want to know about these things, and there's sensible questions being asked in the chat. What you can't do sensibly is have these glasses on and then use AirPod Maxes, because the pressure of the arms on the head really is not good. But the AirPod Pro 2s work fantastically well with them, and you just tap a button and away you go, and you've got this spatial audio, noise cancelling. It's awesome. And again, I mean, honestly, guys, I mean, I was thinking about this. It is as close as I think you can ever get to literally having a theater in your pocket. Yeah. And I mean, I move around a lot. I'm always on the move. But because I'm on the move, it doesn't mean that I'm always busy. I have a lot of waiting time at police stations for clients and police and everything else, and at court. And there is nothing cooler. I will tell you now, nothing cooler than being able to just, go out to the car, put the seat back, throw a 147-inch screen on the roof of the car internally, and watch a rugby game, a rugby match or a movie or whatever. And I've done it many times, and it's awesome. It's also quite cool. A quick glance. This is the other thing that's good about these. Same with yours, Deej, as well. A quick glance. People just think you've got sunglasses on. The problem with the Apple Vision Pro is you look like you're going skiing, and so it kind of, you really stand out, which you don't want with things as expensive as these, especially not those. So that's what's so cool about these. These are much more inconspicuous, and yet you still get an amazing experience. So I really do. I love mine. I've had mine about 3 months now, and I'll tell you now, there are a number of times when even at home, where I've got the cinema room there, or I've got the sit in the front room and put the glasses on, and I've used the glasses instead, because it is bizarrely more sociable as well. You're not in the cinema room on your own. You can chat to people as you're doing it. So it's really, really cool. Just to answer Martin J's point, he said, "What have I got? I've got the X-Real
I'm putting
ones."
them in the chat right now.
Oh, good man. Yeah, nice one. Okay, yeah. So that's what
I'm putting links to the Amazon. I think these are the links. I'm trying anyways. I put mine and yours. So if they just want to click on those links in the chat, see, that's huge. That's too big of a link. Let me see. That's too big. Let me see if I was trying to
click. It doesn't click. Well, at least.
Yeah. Let me try. Where is this?
I'm putting it on the screen instead. There you go. Copy that down.
All right. Never mind. Here we go. Steve.
Quickly.
These are Steve's.
Quickly. You done yet?
Steve's. This link should work. So boom. So. Didn't put a space in. Let me try again.
I'm a little bit worried about if we read that word, what that's saying about me.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned. What is Steve doing in his pants?
Why does it not put the space in? Here we go. Try that link for Steve's.
Yeah.
and then mine are the Viture, and his are the X-Real.
Yeah, X-Real
XR1 with the X1 chip.
X1 chip? It's the M1 chip, I think it is. Might be the X1 now that I think about it. It's
it does say X1 chip. I think X1 M1 is Apple stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I honestly, I cannot sing their praises enough. If you move around a lot like I do, and you're into this kind of thing, if you can afford them, they're not cheap, and I get that. But if you can.
Or you have a good friend.
Or you have a very good friend, absolutely.
Exactly.
Then you honestly, you ought to have them. You really should. They're that good. I love them. Absolutely love them. And just so cool.
Yeah, it's like obviously, like you said, you're gonna use them when you're driving and stuff like that. But for me to have these with me at work and be able to just grab my phone, like I can't imagine like wintertime. Just sit back in my truck and be like, okay. That is the other difference. Mine are 135-inch screen. But the difference is the other difference is yours go to a 57-degree field of view. These ones only go to a 50. So that's really your difference. The one thing I wanted to do, and I didn't get a chance to, is I wanted to sit in my theater and sit at my viewing distance and see how big it is, because it says, and the same with yours, I'm sure, it says 147-inch screen. But what's your seating distance on that 100?
Change it.
Yeah.
You can change it. So you've got the standard one is 147 at 4 meters.
Right.
But you can blow the screen up to 200 inches. And then you can move it backwards and forwards. You can change all those independently.
That's some of the stuff I want to be able to try to do with mine and be able to, because mine right now, it's like, it says 135-inch screen, but I'm like, that's probably not even my 110 because it's further away, but it is big. I mean, it's bigger than a television, because I did use them. Really, most of my usage was that, few hours right after I got them. And I messed around with them a little bit later, but it was like right then. And it was like, I was in her house and she has an 85-inch TV above her television, above her fireplace. And I sat down and I'm like, yeah, it's bigger than that. I did that. So
They're really good. They're really good. Just to answer Steve Att's question, does it create 3D? The X-Reel ones will play 3D content that's on your phone. They won't. There's a separate setting for it. I haven't bothered with it because, frankly, size is so big. Yeah, it feels 3D anyway. It really does.
No, on this one, on these, there's a and that I can do through this. It takes everything and makes it 3D. Okay, so when I first did it, I was looking at my laptop and I have a bunch of windows open, right? Folders. And whichever one you're looking at is staggered in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
And then you open it, now it goes like, and there's depth. Then I started watching shows and I was like, everything was 3D. I was like, because it just renders it that way and it pulls things forward, and it actually does a really good job of it. So if you like 3D, I don't, like I said, I can't speak to yours, but these ones here do a really good job at making everything 3D. All right. Yeah. So Nelson, slow down. Nelson sold. I want a pair. Right. All right. This is my question I have to you, Steve. How is your 1080p in these glasses at that size? Because I find that in these ones, it's grainy, right? Like I watched The Last of Us in my theater and I'm like, oh, wow. It's like, it looks smooth. It looks great. There's no banding. With these, I'm watching the same scenes and things are grainy. The stream isn't as, it's basically it's what I would expect if I put a 1080p image up in my theater, right?
Yeah.
Does that feel like that to you, or is that the chip? Is the chip actually up converting the 1080, giving you a nice smooth image?
Yeah. Can you alter the brightness on them as well on yours on the fly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to watch out for that a little bit, because of course you're watching it on different displays. But no, I mean, is it as good as 4K? No. Are they HDR? No. To go back to that from earlier, I'm not gonna say to you it is, because it's not. However, the vast majority of decent streaming content or downloaded content looks awesome on it.
Yeah.
To the point where, as I said, I don't feel I am massively impacting on myself when I watch stuff on that I could watch in the theater room. It's genuinely very good indeed. Now, it does depend on obviously your bandwidth and everything else, because sometimes the stream's obviously not as good. But no, I don't look at it and go, oh God, that's awful compared to the theater room. It still looks very, very good. And broadcast sports and that kind of thing looks absolutely fantastic on it. And again, very 3D. It's really, really good. In terms of battery life, Steve, they actually
there's no battery.
Real ones, draw it from the phone and does not noticeably affect it. Obviously, the iPhone 16 has got very good battery life anyway, but I haven't noticed it affecting it at all.
And there's also, if like with these, I'm sure they have it for the X Reels as well. We've seen them all before, but you can have the inline separation, so you can, like, it will drain your battery faster than the phone would drain the battery alone. So if you wanted to charge your phone at the same time, it's like an $8 little dongle or something that you pop in, and then you can charge it and watch at the same time,
or use a wireless charger.
Yes, or that
which is
option
what
too,
I
which
do
is
because I've got next to my bed, I've got a wireless charger thing, and it just away you go.
That's the other reason I need to upgrade my phone, because my 12, it won't charge anymore. It won't the connection. I can't. Not only will it not charge, but I can't connect. So even if it did have like a lightning connection for the Vures, I couldn't do it. It's not consistent. Like if I connect to a car for CarPlay, I'd be like, okay, it's great, gone, back, gone, back, and that was back when it was decent. Now it's just done. So I need to upgrade this. I've been using I have 2 of these chargers. They're great, and it's. I put it in my truck. It's wireless charging. It's great. But yes, that's the other option. So
they work pretty well. But I honestly, guys, and I know, I mean, I know I sound a bit like a stuck recorder, but I genuinely mean it. Having had them now for 3 months, nearly 4, I love them. And I don't leave home. My police station bag, my
it's like an American Express. You don't leave home without it.
Well, quite. But it just, I literally do not leave home without them in my bag. They're an essential part of my travel kit. Every day I've got them on me, and I use them every day. So
That's awesome.
They are very cool. I
think the biggest upgrade someday would be dropping the wire, but then it would require a battery life. Right?
Dropping the wire, and also 4K, which is the next thing. Make no mistake about it. That is coming. That'll be in the next 18 months. The next generation of these will be 4K wireless.
Yeah, but I think the wireless is really with the battery life. When they can shrink a battery and keep it efficient enough that it's not like you have these big giant glasses on, right? Even with the Vures, the neck thing, that kind of alleviates it. That has to be charged because you plug into that. So but let's get to Scruff Kingman. He's like, so don't wear these while watching Gran Turismo while driving. It's like, it's like the heads up display idea, and like like you said, have it in the corner. I'm like, I'd love it if these had that option too.
Well, I don't know what it's like over there, but if you get caught doing that here, you're being
no, I wouldn't drive. But
don't risk it. I mean, you could, just don't.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the one time you're looking, look at that play. Oh yeah, great. Next thing you know, you've rear-ended a car in front, and you're in a lot of trouble.
Do not watch video while driving. Just not a good idea.
Yeah, don't. But pull over and throw this thing onto the ceiling of the vehicle you're in, and just have a great time. It's awesome. So cool.
Yeah, it is. Really is. It's funny. You find yourself doing this too. It's like, do you tilt your head back so that the screen is up where a screen would be? Because normally if you're sitting by yourself, you just sit like this, and now like the screen is on the floor because you relax your head and look down. But it's like, why is the screen on the floor?
Well, when you really work out how to lock it, then you can just have it wherever you want. So what does make clear is how often you move your head when you're watching stuff. Because something like, I'll have it just that a quarter of an inch higher, and you just press and hold a button, and it moves it to wherever you want it.
Right. That'll be I can't wait to be able to do that, because it is hard. Like I'll sit there and watch stuff right now, and I just keep my head still. But then even looking around a screen that size, you'll like move your head, and like I can't catch it. It's going with me. Stupid bunny rabbit, get back here.
Squirrel, where?
Squirrel. Ah, crap. DJ fell out of his chair again.
So Nelson says, hey Steve, how's the black level look compared to the OLED? The black levels, there are no issues with those. You can change the brightness on the fly, and I have found myself doing that, because bear in mind you're in different environments. So you may do that, but that's just a slider. It's a quick tap away it goes, no problem. And TSG says, sorry, Deej. And if they're bringing out 4K soon, TSG says, would you upgrade? 100%. When they do, it'll be next year after. This is going to be an evolving thing. They know exactly what they're doing. I dare say they've had 4K prototypes for probably about 4 years. But when they come out, yes. I mean, stupid. Can't live without them now.
Right. And I would give this one, like, asterisk to it. The two people sitting here raving about these things are people that will utilize these things every day. Our jobs allow us to utilize these every day. Right. So like, I mean, Steve and I, for all intents and purposes, met because he's watching Lucy on his iPhone, but he's a home theater fan. Right.
In the gym.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we spend a lot of time away from our theaters, and there's a lot of downtime there too. Where so it's like most people, they go to work, they work. Not that Steve and I aren't working when we're at work, but there's time where we're like throw on a pair of glasses and wait for something, right? So that is the other part. I think that I think a lot of people that like Nelson, for instance, I don't know, like I know you travel and you go on trips and stuff like that for work. So maybe they would be good for you. But if you're at home a lot, you're not going to choose these over your theater by any stretch. It's like, if I'm going to watch something and I'm in my theater, I have a theater, I'm going to go to that, right? Because the pictures, even when they come out with 4K, it's not going to be as good. And the sound definitely won't be as good. It'll never match that unless they give you subwoofer like vest to wear or something. Be like, all right.
Matter of time.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it's like Nelson saying, I think that they would be awesome for all the sports. And I haven't gotten there yet, but I can totally picture that 3D, all of that stuff. I mean, I honestly thinking what I've seen on 3D so far, I'm not a big fan of baseball, watching it on TV, but watching that, like watching them pitch and watching the hit, I mean, it's going to look fantastic. But
it's also where you would choose it over your theater though, and where I have is when you're trying to be a bit more sociable. So when sports is on and you're thinking, well, if I go into the theater room, I'm on my own. I'm not then spending time with the family or the rest of it.
Right.
Whereas you can have it on in your front room, in your lounge, with them on, and somehow it is more sociable. You can join in conversations and stuff, even with them on. So there are occasions, certainly personally anyway, quite a lot, where I have chosen this over the cinema room just for that reason. So it's just so cool that you can make that choice. Very, very cool. So they're great. Well, there we go. Steve says F1 in-car view. Anything in vehicles, anything like that.
First-person shooters on these, first-person shooters on these are absolutely insane. I haven't done it yet, but I mean, I'm sure you have, but I've experienced them enough to be like, oh my God, a first-person and then having that neck thing and being able to have your hands in there too. I don't know if yours has that feature. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm seeing some features on yours I want that maybe I don't have, but I'm seeing features on this one that I don't think you get that neck piece, and then I can actually click on icons and stuff and move things around the screen with my hands, because that neck that has has dual cameras to give you depth.
That you do.
So I'm like, that would be kind of fun. But then again, like one of the places I told you when you got yours where I'd like to use them is like at like Larissa's daughter dances. Well, both their daughters do dance, and you go to the competitions, you're there all day, and it'd be like when she's not dancing, just be like, but if I got it, I'm like, who's the moron in the back going, look at him? It's like, looks like I'm in Minority Report, and everybody's like, I can't see what he's doing, but his hands are going everywhere, and he doesn't look Italian at all.
It's like, is that John and his pigeons? What's going on?
So
it's but the gaming thing is definitely cool. I mean, again, with the Legion Go, where the controller's detached from the screen, and you can have this little controller thing, which I've got, so you connect it to that. So you've got literally these glasses, 147-inch screen, Doom Eternal, playing that with a controller as well. This is just bananas. The gaming on it is very, very cool. And things like Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption, games like that are immersive, feels like you are in this world. It's awesome. So I mean, so many uses to.
Nelson's asking, will they connect onto an Apple TV?
Anything with a USB-C connection, they will.
Right,
connect.
But technically, no, they won't, because a USB-C has an HDMI out on it. That's it, right? An Apple TV, I'm sorry, has a USB-C. An Apple TV has a HDMI out. But Nelson, anything on an Apple TV, you can do on an iPhone, right? So like, I was watching Fubo. That's my I was watching everything I have, I can get on my phone, my Apple phone, or my MacBook, right? So I was watching Fubo on my glasses, which is from my app I have on my Apple TV. There's nothing on my Apple TV that I can't do through my phone or my MacBook, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Usually what you would do is you take your phone and you would send it to the Apple TV to get it on your big screen, right? And the Apple TV is just an extension of your phone. So you don't need to connect to your television. You need, you can't connect this to your like Kaleidoscape. You can't do that. You can't connect it to a Blu-ray player. You can't connect, what you would do is you have to stream any of that content. You would have to find and stream from your phone or MacBook or iPad or a laptop. You could do it from a regular laptop too, PC. So, but yeah, you don't have to connect it to an Apple TV to get the contents that are on an Apple TV.
Yeah.
Unless you want to see the settings for your Apple TV, then just do that on the TV.
Alrighty. Shall we do some experiences?
I'm in the middle of one right now. No. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. So, but it is. Yeah. They are cool. They are very cool.
They are. So if I didn't say it before, thanks, Larissa.
Yeah.
All right. What do we want to get to first?
Well, you can say thanks, Larissa. I'll say sorry, Larissa, for not making it clearer on my Twitter feed what ones I've got.
No. She did. She even said that. She goes, "He had it right. I just screwed up." She's like, "Whatever." I was like, "No, don't worry about it." And if nothing else, here comes the disclaimer. This is not a paid advertisement because we're talking about two competing companies.
Indeed, yes, yeah. But if they want to pay us,
they're not going to do it now.
I'll take a free pair of either. So
right, then you'll know which company stepped up,
which one we're sponsoring. Yeah.
Don't limit your options, John.
I'll take a free pair of either or both.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you want somebody to do direct comparison, I'm your guy.
Yeah,
done.
Well, I only have two this week, guys. I have the one that we talked about last week, and we're going to wait for John, and I have the one that you watched, Steve, and of course, Last of Us. I have. If we're going to talk about that, and Andor. So what do we want to start with first? We've got 45 minutes. You want to do one, Steve, of yours that you hadn't done before?
Go for it. Yeah, I don't mind if that's right. I've been John, unless you want to
John, you have one, right? The one that you sent today. And then
two, technically.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Take your pick, John. Easy like a Sunday morning.
All righty, let's do this. Hey, everybody, an actual in-home theater experience coming at you right now.
Oh, yeah, light the fuse. Yeah, so
here we go.
Then is Mission Impossible 3. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why did you choose Mission Impossible 3? Not 1, 2. No, not none of the McHugh ones. No. Right. So this one is slightly backwards because this is on 4K disc. Sorry, I should have said. So 4K HDR. Dolby Surround, I watched this in because it's in Dolby True HD 5.1, but up next to Dolby Surround. Now, I got to this because another one that I watched before this was a J.J. Abrams movie. And I happened to see on Twitter the opening of this again, which with Philip Seymour Hoffman, of course, which is the best opening, I think, of any of them.
Yeah.
And it just got, having just seen another Abrams movie, I thought, you know what, this is the one. And so I put this on. And I mean, I really do like this. This is one of my favorite ones. The first one's very, very good. Second one's a bit silly, but very watchable. This one's fun. And then I think they are of a muchness after that. It's still good, but this one I really do like. So, so really enjoyed the movie again. I think it's great. You guys, I know, have seen them. I own them, I imagine, because I know we've done them on the show before.
I did them all last year.
Yeah.
Quite, there we go. Yeah. So this is, I think, the second time I've seen this 4K disc. So really enjoyed the movie again. I mean, it's very Abrams. It's very quick, very snappy, in and out, done. It's great. Now, the 4K experience, so the video is very good indeed for a movie that is shot on film, rather strangely, because, of course, when this movie came out, was it 2006? I think it was, something like that. There were, most movies were being shot digitally, if not significantly or completely. But this was shot on film for significant portions of it. But so there is grain. And there is some bits and pieces here that are issues, but nothing that takes away from it. The detail level on it is awesome. I mean, that you can see every little sort of bead of sweat on Ethan, careful how I say it, Hunt's face. And you see all the little detail and all the kind of everything else. When what happens to poor old Lindsay happens, you can see the capillaries in her eye as the charge goes off and all that kind of thing. And it's colorful and
the what?
Detailed. She's got the capillaries in her eyes. So
capillaries,
capillaries. Tomato, honestly.
She got tomatoes on her face
right on
too?
schedule, DJ.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Oh, good man. See, John's going to have my back on
There we go.
Europhile that he is.
Yeah.
So you can see all this detail. So it looks great and very colorful. And when you get the bridge sequence, which is one of my favorites, I think, of all the Mission Impossible films, you've got the black uniforms of the soldiers against the blue of the sky. You've got the beautiful burnt orange of the flames. It all looks great and actually very three-dimensional. And then you get the audio. Now, I had the biggest, dopiest grin on my face, Deej, right at the beginning when you get the very terribly tactically arranged rescue sequence, which just seems to be, let's just run in.
Yeah.
Charge! Bizarrely. It really is, isn't it? It's just run in and get her and run out again.
Yeah.
And so what you do get, though, is you do get guns. And they sound like guns, and you get these remote things that just go bang.
Steve likes guns.
Steve likes guns. Yeah, and so you get all that, and all the different caliber weapons all sound differently, and it sounds fantastic. And then you get to, I think the bridge sequence in particular is the demo sequence of all of it. Although the movie itself has lots of demo sequences in it, but the bridge sequence when you've got this Predator drone thing, which tears across the screen and it feels like it's ripping the screen in two with the way the sound kind of moves and the aggression of it. It's awesome. And then he's got his guns and he's firing that at the helicopter and they're firing back. It's awesome. And I was very, 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 very pleased to remind myself of how good this sounds on this 4K disc. So I had a fantastic time watching this. I love how it looks and sounds in 4K and Dolby Surround. I not enough to go back and do 1 and 2 again. I think I'm going to move forward from now. Yeah, because I haven't got that time.
I did that last year. I can't remember which one I started with. And then I ended up I'm like, all right, I did. And I went back and I watched it. And it's like 2 for me. It's talking about glasses that we talked about. Don't remember the beginning.
Exactly, with videos.
Video, and he has the glasses, but it's the rock climbing. He has the longer hair. It's the music. It was it Limp Bizkit? Yeah, Limp Bizkit did the Mission Impossible song, and it's like I used to have that. Oh my god! But yeah, what made you go to start at 3?
Because I'd seen this other Abrams movie and then also I saw on Twitter someone put up the opening of Philip Seymour Hoffman. We put a card in the head. And that's such a cool opening. So those two things together, and of course Mission Impossible coming out, Final Reckoning. I just thought, you know what? I'll start with this one, and I just love that bridge sequence.
Oh yeah.
So
John Woo did 2, right?
Yeah, John Woo did
2. Yeah.
Palmer did 1. Woo does 2. Abrams does 3, and then it's McHugh since then, I think, isn't it? No, Brad Bird. Sorry, Brad Bird did the next one, and then it's McHugh from then on. Yeah. So but it's so cool. I mean, I may well go forward now rather than back, but I do love 1 and 2. Don't get me wrong. But I've only got so much time before the next one comes out.
I know. I saw a review today on Twitter of the new one coming out, and they were actually panning it. They were like, it's awful. All it is clips. It's like highlights from all the other movies. And I was like, that's awesome. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's awesome. Like, do you know how old these movies are? It like goes back to the 90s. You're like, that's great. And they're all tied together. I'm in. Cha-ching, get me my ticket. This guy's like, it's bad. I want something new. Then go watch another franchise. It'd be completely different.
Yeah, I've seen some reviews saying it's fantastic. So I think it's one of those that's going to fall in the middle, depending on how much you love the series. But I had an absolute blast with this. I really did. And I said, I'll probably move forward now with them. But yeah, that's not to besmirch 1 and 2. Yeah. It's just because of how much time I've got.
I think it's 4 where they pick up with Atmos. They're all 5.1 up until I think it's either 4 or 5 that you start to get Atmos in them.
It goes protocol forward, maybe.
I think so.
That makes sense.
I think so because I did them. I remember doing them last year, and I couldn't wait to get to the Atmos. But again, in true fashion, it's like the Atmos. It's nice, but they all are really nice. And I want to say that maybe the first Atmos maybe wasn't as dynamic as the one right before, because I did them really tight, and it was one of those where it was like, well, wait a minute, that last one had like it was a little louder. It was probably rendered louder, but whatever. But yeah, they do you get into the Atmos and you're like, okay, here we go.
But this is no slouch.
So
I mean, this
has
got demo sequences galore in this.
Yeah. I don't care which codec is.
Yeah,
oh my God, it's going to sound good. It's going to sound good.
But if you've got it and you want to just give it a blast, the bridge sequence is the one to go for. The opening's good, tactically ridiculous, but it's good. But the bridge sequence in this it genuinely feels like your screen is being ripped in two when this drone comes tearing across the front.
I'll be right back.
Around, and it's great. Yeah. Please hold.
Please hold. My head's bothering me. I got to go lay on the floor. I'll be back.
Yeah. It's like, take over.
Take over, guys. Sorry. All right. Did you get to this one, Steve? Did you get to the movies?
The one that's on it? I didn't. No. But again, I've seen it. No one's going to spoil it for me. I've seen.
Well, we're not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it.
No.
But I can't wait to hear John.
I would say honestly, I don't have much more to say about it than you guys did last week, but we can put it up anyway.
There we go.
What he said.
Exactly. All right. Now we'll get John's take. I actually did see it again this weekend.
Did you?
Saturday night. Yeah. So here we go. Oops, that ain't it. No, what the heck happened there? Oh, there it is.
Okay. Well, again, this then would be Thunderbolts, John's version, I guess.
There's another version out in theaters that John cut. So it's the John cut of Thunderbolts.
John's opinion, I guess. But the thing is, you guys even talked about my opinion last week, so I didn't even have to be here because you already told everybody what I thought of it.
Steve, John's mad at us.
No, I'm not mad at all. But I don't know what else. I don't know what else to add to it. Yeah, so I mean, I saw this in the theaters opening weekend. Loved it. Had all intentions to talk about it on the show last week. And of course I wasn't able to make it, but Steve texted me, asked me my opinion on it. And my initial gut reaction was, top 5 Marvel movie. And then after a thought, I backed off a bit and said, well, maybe top 8, top 5 is pretty crowded. Top 8 is still crowded, but I really liked it. But then I was like, well, what will I think of it next week after having sat with it for a week, right? Because that was my snap reaction after just seeing it. And I'll say it's the same. Like I've thought about this movie quite a bit. I've seen a lot of not discourse, but a lot of conversation around it online. And it's still, again, it's hard to rank. Like it's, top 8, top 10, wherever it is, but out of 30 Marvel movies, and then do you count Deadpool as a Marvel movie? So it's it's definitely questionable, but I love this film. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
I mean, this again, we talked about like Guardians of the Galaxy back in the day where, you've got a movie full of characters that nobody likes, nobody knows, and then you turn it into, again, for me, like a top 4 Marvel movie, and this same thing, like these are a bunch of unlikable characters with the exception of a couple of them. We all like Yelena, we all like Bucky. But this was just a great movie, and it wasn't because it was a superhero movie. It was because it was a movie about depression and acceptance and mental I don't know if illness is the right word, but I mean, people that are just not in a good place.
Right.
And, I've seen lots of comparisons, like Wanda in the MCU is what you get when you don't have a support system. Right. And Sentry is what you get when you do have a support system, and, I agree with that, without giving too many spoilers away. It's a couple weeks old now, so everybody knows, Bob is there. And then to answer the question about Top Gun Maverick and Thunderbolts, Bob is the character's name in the comics going back decades. So if anybody riffed off of anything, it was Maverick preemptively.
Right. I said that last week because somebody said that in the chat too. And it's like, he was Bob in the comics.
Yeah,
it's
his name has always been Robert Bob. I can't remember his last name now, but that's the character's name in the comics. So so it definitely wasn't taken as a kind of a joke. But yeah, this is a movie that I can't wait to get at home. I did see this in a not so great theater, so I will only speculate on how the home theater experience will be. But I would buy this and watch it on my phone and not even bat an eye, because the story to me is what is what matters here. So
it was I saw it twice in the X Plus, and I'll say, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would go as far, like say I enjoyed it as much as you. I did really enjoy it, but I wasn't like top 5. I was just more like, okay, top half, maybe, 12 to 15, something like that. Because when you start to think of, is it better than this one? You're like, oh yeah, I
know
forgot
it's
about
tough
that one, right?
Like, is it better than No Way Home? Is it better than this? Like,
Civil
I
War?
don't know,
Is it? Yeah, exactly.
But it struck a chord with me, and I really enjoyed it. I love Yelena's character. To me, she should be the Tony Stark of the MCU going forward. And she's just fantastic.
Yeah, she's the glue of this movie, and you could see her being the glue moving forward because, in this movie, everything she's been through, it's like it pertains to the exact story. It's like, hey, we've all been through this. Let's go. And she's like, she can relate, but she can also. It's like, it's really, really well done. Home theater wise, seeing it in X Plus, which the one here has the Barco laser projector. They do have the real nice Atmos. So it was awesome seeing it. The picture is fantastic. And seeing it a second time gives me the ability to like look at things and see, vibrancy and look, because I know the story. So that was really nice. But also what I found was, when you go to a movie a second time, like you said, John, you're so psyched about it. You really loved it. It's like recency bias. I can't wait to get back and see it. And how many times have you gone back to see a movie and you're like, oh, we're not even to that part yet. Okay. You're like, oh no. You're like, and then by the end, you're like, maybe it wasn't as good because you're like, it was a little longer the second time because there was no surprises. There was nothing you were looking forward to, right? This wasn't like that because the story is that good that you're like, as the story plays out, even the second time, you're now seeing and hearing lines that mean different things and understanding characters in different ways. And I think the time passed faster, I think, the second time. You're like, oh my God, it's over? Yeah. Now, the second time, it might have seemed like it passed faster because I didn't stick around for the end credits the second time because that's a pain in the ass when you got to wait till the very end.
Once you've seen it, yeah. I tell you, I was absolutely going back to see this again Tuesday morning before the show. And then my daughter called and asked me, of course, to watch the baby. But I haven't been to the theater to see a movie a second time probably since Phantom Menace. Like, it's literally been decades. Like, I saw Phantom Menace like 9 times, but I don't go back to the theaters to see movies hardly ever. Unless I'm unless somebody that hasn't seen it is like, I take it back. Like, I think I saw Fellowship of the Ring with a buddy, and then I went and took my son to see it. But even that was 20 years ago, Like, I don't go to the theaters multiple times, but I was absolutely
you wantingly go
on my way to go see this again Tuesday. So, if that says anything.
Oh, it's awesome. Awesome. All right. All righty then. Let's see. Let's pull that down, remove. All right. Let me see. Do you want to talk? Well, we wrapped up Andor. Let me find the image for that. Let's talk about that quick before we get to the next Star Wars conversation. Actually, John has one too. So let's do that before we get to Andor. Let's do John's that he has.
Well, I have 2 more still, but
you do. Well, you do?
Yeah, I have Slow Horses from like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But, we can talk about whatever you want, but
all right. Well, let's do this one here.
Okay.
then and then we'll wrap up with the.
Okay. All right. So this is a film called Exterritorial on Netflix, which, as you can see from the image, was number 6 in the top 10 movies on Netflix. Yes, 2 days ago. I watched this. Have either one of you seen this or heard of this movie?
No,
Not till you sent it.
All right. So I saw this. I watched this after reading an article saying this was the best movie on Netflix. And I said, okay, let me go watch the best movie on Netflix.
Which is currently ranked 6th.
Number
which was
6.
ranked number 6. Yeah. I did not watch the best movie.
Was it the 6th movie on Netflix?
Let me put it that way. Maybe of the day, all time, I don't know. I guess to get the technical stuff out of the way, of course, this is a brand new movie on Netflix. So it was Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, all the good stuff. I will say this is a German film, and it has Dolby Atmos in the original language. I did not check English because I don't watch dubbed films, but I would hazard a guess that to get Atmos, you have to watch this in German. Now, saying that, this movie does take place at the U.S. consulate in Germany. So there is quite a bit of English spoken, but there is also a lot of German subtitles. So as far as the movie goes, I mean, you can see it here from the description. This is a movie about an ex-Special Forces operative who is a German citizen and lives in Germany, but somehow inexplicably was part of an American unit in Afghanistan. I still don't know how or why. But she is at the consulate with her son to get a visa to move back to the U.S. for a job. Her son goes missing in the consulate, and stuff happens, right? It's a big mystery. I mean, you can guess, right? Like, it's a big mystery. Her son's missing. She's ex-Special Forces, so, she's going to go find her kid. This movie, the plot of this film was so thin, you could see through it. Like, it just was tied together with a string. Like, it was silly as all get out. The action sequences were okay, but seemed very staged. Obviously they're all staged, but I mean, it was,
but it's like, called acting. You're
like
supposed to not feel that.
That's the thing. Like, you could literally in 4K in a movie made in 2025, like, you could see the elbows not hitting. You know, you could. I mean, you can see the blows just not even connecting. So I don't know that I would recommend this movie, except to say that home theater wise, it was pretty nice. Like, for a streaming movie, visually it was very crisp, very striking. It looked great. And the audio was pretty decent. I mean, it had some good Atmos, had some deep bass at times. Walls were shaking, bass was happening. And, I mean, the fights sounded like fights more than they looked like fights. You could hear the elbows not connecting. You just couldn't see them. So again, I don't know.
This is for that. This really should be for that.
For the audio
visual.
Exactly. You
cinema,
turn the screen off.
Turn the screen off
just
and
listen
enjoy
to it. Of course, then it's all in German. So if you don't understand it, with no subtitles, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, you could go to the English version then if it, because it's not dubbed. If it is in Atmos, you could listen to it because you're not worried about the lips not matching
Yeah, and
up.
I don't know. Again, I don't know if the English track was Atmos.
Right.
Usually with these films, you only get the main language Atmos track. I don't think this had the budget to give Dolby Atmos to all the other language tracks.
They didn't have a budget to elbows connect. So.
Exactly.
They didn't have a good dental plan.
But this was so silly. Not even very well acted in most degrees. Although the main actress here, I can't read her name from the Jean Groussard. She tried pretty hard to carry this film on her shoulders. Like, she was very believable as a mom who's, frantically trying to find her kid. But the cast around her
Didn't care about the kid.
Yeah, didn't care about the kid, and didn't really care
because they're not related.
Didn't care about the script a whole lot either. So again, I'm not going to recommend this. I don't know. Nobody in the chat seems to be talking about that they have watched it. So,
they're all Googling it. What movie is this?
Yeah. IMDb 5.7 out of 10. That's generous.
Do you know what? I have to say, I think for a German movie, I'm surprised it's at number 6. Shouldn't it be at 9?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exactly.
And that's what I would say about whether you should watch it or not.
Yeah. Right now, there's somebody at Netflix marketing going, see, somebody tweets out it's number 1. We got that one sucker.
I kind of want to find that article again so that I can put some comments on it. But anyways, I watched it. It had, like I said, not bad HT, but not worth. I mean, it wasn't that good that it was
right.
Worth watching for that. So
all right.
pretty passable film.
All right. Well, that's too bad.
Maybe I'll save somebody 2 hours.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah, me. Yeah. I already have Netflix.
To be fair, you guys weren't going to find it and watch it anyway. So
right. No, if it was good. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? Anything? Oh, you guys want to talk a little bit of Andor before?
Yeah, can do.
Huh? You don't like it?
Yeah, let's do it. I do. I have comments about the middle 3.
The middle 3.
Yeah. Well,
what are the middle 3?
We had 9. We've had 9.
So what's the middle 3?
The middle 3 is the
9?
Top secret without the jokes. Yes. The French resistance.
Oh, yeah. So this is the image that I have from a few weeks ago. So yeah. So Andor season 2. What do we got? 3 more dropping tonight?
3 more tonight, and then
that's the finale.
That's the finale.
Yes. Done and done.
That's the finale. And we all knew that at the time. Not like last show we were watching. I didn't know that wasn't the ending. Daredevil. Yeah. I was like, oh, there's still 1 more to go. All right, cool. So yeah, 3 more tonight, which still amazes me every week. I'm like, they're literally like, I think John, you said it earlier, like they're putting out a movie a week.
Well, here's what I'll say about before we get into this. You discover quickly from week to week. I didn't really love the release strategy of this being 3 episodes a week, but every week it's a year jump. Like you're getting a little 3-episode arc, then you're jumping a year. Then you're getting 3 episodes, then you're jumping a year. So now that I've seen the way they chose to do that, I don't mind. Like I actually kind of like the way they're releasing them.
And I'm so into Andor that when I went to Last of Us and there was one where it was like 7 years later, I was like, why are they jumping 7 years? They've been doing a year all along. What the hell is wrong? Oh, wrong show. Calm down, Deej. Sitting all by myself in my theater panicking. But
because I'm assuming, I would imagine I would put money on the fact that we're going to be 1 year before the Battle of Yavin when we start episode 10.
Steve, that's why we have him here, Steve. His brains. There you go.
I mean, I'm not a betting man per se, but I would put money on that.
I didn't know where it was going, but thank God he. I agree. Each week is a chapter, and each chapter is a movie. It's like literally a full-length movie we're getting. And when you look at it that way, you're like, each week has its own beginning and end, and middle. There's 3. It just, I think the production quality too, home theater wise, I think is really good. As we've stated before, it's like the picture, really, really good, really good. And for, Atmos, I think for streaming, it's really good as well. I think they're improving on all that on Disney Plus, and it's like I can't wait for tonight's 3. I won't be able to watch them tonight, but I
won't see them till Thursday. Honestly,
I
have to stay away from
I mean, as someone who was very lukewarm on Andor season 1 and indeed Rogue One up until recently, I definitely prefer this season. There's, I think you said a couple of weeks ago, John, there are these endless episodes on a prison that don't seem to go anywhere. There doesn't seem to be. This is very taut, sort of quite lean and mean in many ways. And whilst I do have, I couldn't get my head out of this kind of a bit silly French resistance. The whole thing was kind of silly. They've even got berets. They've got berets. You've got, bizarrely, there's a town square with a bell going off in the background, which is just weird.
Yeah,
you've got the French kind of hotel and the sort of the Renaissance style stuff. So that's all weird and odd. And you get the Les Miserables sort of rising up as well, which is all very.
Well, they didn't dance yet.
Not yet. Although they were singing.
Well, we're going to talk about some dancing in a minute, but
yeah, quite. So it was. So there's some odd choices, but I have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed the season a lot more, and I'm along for this, and I like that we've got K2 and all the rest of it. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And so I like how that's all going. So yes, this has been much more enjoyable than the other one. And by the way, did you recognize? The guy that plays the old revolutionary? Did you recognize?
I recognized his face, but I can't place him. I was thinking about it the whole time I was watching it. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Did you get it, Deej?
No.
Now, what I remember,
maybe I did. I might forget. I watched this early last week.
It's probably not the same place that you're going to remember him from, Steve. So
right. So, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh.
When you've got the guy that says he will not tell them the location of the German soldiers, and you've got Brad Pitt who says to him, Donnie, we've got someone here who wants to die for his country. Oblige him. That's the German guy. That's the guy doing it.
Like it literally just came to me as we were talking what I remember him from, but it's not that. It's not that. I remember him from Sex Education. He played he played the principal of the school in the first couple seasons of Sex Education. Okay. But I didn't remember it until we were just talking right now.
I didn't get any of that. So.
Oh man, but yeah, so he's the guy from Inglourious Basterds anyway that says he's prepared to die.
Now that you say that, I remember him from that.
Yeah, yeah. It took me a while, and then I was like, that's him. Right, got it.
Nice.
So there we go. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to how it wraps up. I am enjoying this.
Good.
Way better than the first series.
Good. Glad you. Now, are you enjoying it more because of Rogue One, or do you think the season's helping it along?
Well, I think this made me enjoy Rogue One more rather than the other way around. So actually, because I think this is definitely at a much better clip. The story is again, this little 3-act structure each week seems to be propelling them forward.
Right.
So that makes it more interesting rather than, as I say, this kind of lots of episodes that seem to be filler. That this is moving forward. So notwithstanding the French resistance oddities, it's still actually really good.
There was another thread in Rogue One that I think is enhanced by this as well, in that up until this season, I felt that Rogue One had almost like a love story thread culminating at the end, right? Of them two, right? By the end of that movie.
Story. Yes.
What's that?
It's a platonic love story.
Yes, I don't think it's a romantic love story at all.
Now I don't at all.
Right.
Right? No. Now I don't at all. Now I'm like, it's just they're doing this thing, and they're, it's platonic love, but he's doing this, and according to this, we don't know. It's not the end of the season. There could be somebody back home, but he's still sacrificing. So that to me makes the end of Rogue One even bigger. Right? He's doing this, and he's not a loner. He's, potentially, I don't know, so it's that to me.
No, I don't believe so. I believe that he's waiting.
Or she's waiting.
I believe that, yes, he thinks that at the end of Rogue One, she's going to be waiting for him.
Right. Right.
That's, I mean, at least that's what I think. Like you said, yes, we don't know what's going to happen.
Next three episodes, who knows? Right.
I think you can take
it. Also explain, to me, because it also explains, because obviously Bix as a character is notably absent from the film. So you're like, well, she either doesn't survive the end of this show, or what happened, without spoiler too much, what we saw this past week is why she's missing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I just don't want to spoil it too much, because I don't know if everybody's watched it.
Well, there's not really much. It's just there's a love interest, and it's like, okay.
Well, right, but something happens this past week that explains why she would be absent.
Right. Whereas at the beginning of the season, you're like, oh, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
So now it's not even a spoiler. I think it's actually better to not be to say, because now it's like you don't know.
Right.
It's like she doesn't have to die. Because like you said, she's not in Rogue One. So I just assumed all along, like, yeah, she's gonna die. And then I was like, wait a minute, as this goes on, and then seeing Rogue One again, go, wait, there's no real like relationship. It's just that's just where they ended up at the end of the movie.
Well, I mean, of course, you're going to embrace somebody when you're standing on the beach about to die.
Yeah, I'd be hugging you, John. I'd be like, all right, here we go, buddy. Big hug.
Yeah. But yeah,
our luck, it would just be a warm wave, and we'd be standing there like,
awkward.
You want to let go now? Not really.
But and then also notably absent from the movie is Stellan Skarsgård's character. So again, what happens there?
Imminent capture, I suspect.
Yeah.
So,
I will say, like, I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't here last week, so I didn't talk about my thoughts on 4, 5, and 6. But going into I guess going into episode 7, I was still pretty lukewarm on this season. Like, I felt like it had its moments, but even though, like Steve, you were saying you thought that it was tight, I still felt like it was very slow and had a lot of stuff that could have been told in fewer episodes. But the latest, like 7, 8, and 9 really propelled this show forward for me to where like I am actively looking forward to watching the final 3 episodes.
Yeah,
whereas, like I said, I was along for the ride. I was never not going to finish it, but I just wasn't really super invested in it until this past week. I feel like it really, like I said, a lot of things were put in motion, and
Jordan's saying in the chat, episode 8 is one of the best episodes of any Star Wars series in his opinion. So
I agree.
So it is. It's like, but they're doing it at the right time. They're building to the end.
Well, of course,
go, oh my God, I need a season 3 or what? If there's space, I don't know if
I don't.
Oh no, we're going right into the film.
Yeah.
Because again, this will be 1 year before the Battle of Yavin, so I mean, there's no time for another season. So
did you guys see the article with Tony Gilroy, who's obviously the showrunner, talking about the horror episode? Do you guys see that? It's quite interesting.
See that. No.
Yeah. So there was a standalone episode of a ship on its way to Yavin, and the idea was on that ship would be one of these Imperial K2 droids.
Okay.
That would be picking them off like Alien. Picking off the rebels one at a time,
right?
And this idea that they couldn't, they just couldn't stop it, and they scripted the episode. They was like he was saying, it's one of the best episodes I've ever read.
Wow!
But they couldn't make it fit the 3-act structure that they were working on with all of them, so they excised it.
Wow!
But he said it was basically Alien in Star Wars.
Oh,
so it would have been. I think that could have been quite cool myself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking, wow, the way they deploy them like Terminators. This thing to then see one and what one could do to a ship full of unsuspecting people. I mean, it's a bit Last Voyage of the Demeter, I suppose. Yeah. But it's also kind of, could have been very cool.
It could have been very cool. Steve has a comment here saying, seeing hints that say after watching Andor season 2, episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion, you should watch Rebels season 3, episode 18, Secret Cargo. Yeah. So, again, without too many spoilers, the end of episode 9 of Andor sets up a speech that is to be given by Mon Mothma and broadcast to the rebellion. So Rebels season 3, episode 18 shows the cast of that show watching the speech. So if you want to hear that speech, you go and you watch Rebels season 3, episode 18. So
there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah. I got some homework.
Yeah. I know. I've been meaning to do it all week. I even told my son on Sunday, I was like, we need to watch this episode of Rebels.
Yeah.
But I haven't had time to do it.
Yep. All right. You ready for this one, Steve?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go. More Star Wars. Let's go.
Yeah, so this is Rise of Skywalker on 4K UHD disc and in Dolby Atmos. This is the first J.J. Abrams movie I watched this past week. And why I hear you cry Rise of Skywalker, I don't know.
No.
I was just going to ask you why Rise of Skywalker.
See, well, this is the funny thing. So having rewatched Rogue One the other day, one of my least favorite Star Wars movies, and then found myself enjoying it enough to say, actually, I can see why people love Rogue One more than I could before.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I actually really like, and I liked it in theaters, and I liked it when I saw it at home, and I thought, well, I will give this a go. And interestingly,
I don't like
watched this. Well, I now see why people don't like it, and I can also see why some people hate it.
Oh,
I don't share that view. I still enjoyed it,
okay,
but I can definitely see more kind of WTF moments in this. Seeing it again now, so because there are some very odd things in it, and the beginning of the dead speak, what? And kind of this transmission, very weird. Anyway, so I did enjoy it again. I do like the film. I do like it. There are some strange things in it. They fly now. Hang about. We've had Mandalorian in between these two, so surely that we all got used to people flying around with jetpacks. But anyway, so it's so there are some odd choices on it. I can see why people don't like it. I still enjoy it, and my favorite part is still the Kylo Ren Han Solo. Hopefully, we can spoil that now. It's been a while. I love that scene. I love that scene. I think that scene's fantastic. And bearing in mind my position in life, and I just think that's a beautifully written scene. And I love the way
it bookends the trilogy too.
Yeah, it does.
They did literally the same grasp and everything in what was the first one? Force Awakens, right? Yeah. So they did the same thing, different outcome.
Indeed, yes.
But
I love the way that he calls him dad, and I love the way he says Ben. I just think it's beautiful. I love that scene. That scene I could just watch and forget the rest of the movie, if I had to. So anyway, I did enjoy it, but I can see more now with a bit of distance since I last seen it why some people hate it. I get that, but I enjoyed it. Now, what is interesting, home theater wise, is so the video it started off quite grainy initially, and I was a little thinking initially, well, okay, this is a bit strange, because on the planet wherever Kylo Ren is, if you look in the red, you can see grain and you can see kind of movement there that shouldn't really be there, other than it's intentional, and that was a little bit distracting. But as it moves on, the movie cleans up and just looks great, and so it really does look beautiful. And right at the beginning, after when Kylo Ren first gets to Exegol, if you don't have your display calibrated, you've got all kinds of issues in terms of the dark scenes there, because the Emperor's face, if you haven't got your screen set right, you're not even going to see that. Now, my screen is calibrated and I could see it. It looked great, but I can see some people thinking, what the hell? So it looks really good. It's very detailed when it needs to be. It's bright, it's colorful. It's an Abrams movie all day long. Yeah. Now, interestingly, I had forgotten. So I put the film on. I get about 15, 20 minutes in, and I'm thinking the sound is very quiet, and think it's not really very enveloping. This is on disc, obviously. And I was thinking, this is a bit weird. And I thought, okay, well, I can't remember kind of what the reviews said at the time. So I looked on the reviews, paused it, looked on the reviews, and sure enough, every single review said, bump this at least 5 dB above your normal listening level and watch what happens, which I did. And suddenly, boom. The movie just felt like it had been unlocked. And so then it comes alive. So that the chase scenes in the desert sound amazing. Obviously the Kylo Ren TIE fighter thing where she jumps over it. Awesome. But the absolute standout for me, and there's a load of really good scenes in this, but the standout for me, even more than the Exegol fight and the lightning and all that stuff, is on Endor, the moon of Endor, whatever it's called, when she goes into the Death Star. Just listen to that sequence. I mean, you've got water that sounds like it's running down the walls of your theater.
Yeah, it did. I was like, is that a leak? I was like, oh crap, I'm selling this house. I don't need a leak now.
Well, we've talked about this. You should pause it and then go and do that, then come back.
Right.
Not that kind of leak. So you've got water running down the walls.
My Lord of the Rings starter pack.
you've got echoes in the background deliberately so. You can hear kind of things moving in the thing. It was awesome. That is the demo sequence of a movie with a number of demo sequences.
Yes.
So again, if you want to go back to this, just put that bit on and just revel in the awesome, the subtleness and the power of Atmos. It's got both in that scene. So I really did like that bit in particular. But you've got loads of stuff. When the lightning is being used, it sounds great. In the Exegol, the whole thing on Exegol at the end sounds fantastic.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And all the echoes and everything else is great.
Yeah.
But remember, turn it up. If you've got the disc, I don't know if it's like that on Kaleidoscope. Probably not.
I didn't feel that at all in Kaleidoscope. I was like, it was crisp. It was like the bass was crisp, the thunder, the everything, their dialogue. I felt everything was just crisp and clean. I remember seeing this in the theater. I remember seeing it at home for the first time. It was like, and John and I we were doing this on chat at the time, and I was like, this might be one of my favorite Star. It might be I was like John with, I was like, oh my God. Recency bias. I was about to put this above Star Wars. I loved it that much. Watching it again, I'm like, I'm seeing more things in it that I didn't see before. Like when she heals the snake, and it's what's the story there with the guy that saves the lion, pulls the thorn out, right? It's
I know his name.
Whatever, But the entire idea of that thing is like, compassion and, don't be, it's people that shouldn't get along, all of that. That's the entire movie. Right. And it's like, so you just have that one little scene, which is literally a ripoff of that fable. We don't remember what it is, but
was it David?
No, that was David and Goliath.
Yeah.
It was, no, it was, I don't remember.
Yeah. Bob.
Bob
and the Lions.
Bob and the Lion makes sense.
But you have that, and then I felt like in this time viewing it, the end scene there when when she goes to the Death Star, which is you got to get through the water. But I got the entire when he called him Ben, and he's like Dad and Ben, and right when he calls him Ben, and then the big giant splash of water comes up and comes down. It's like being born again. Like he's Ben again. There's a huge, religious connotation there, right? It's like all the water will wipe away all of that stuff. The flood, Jesus, like the Noah and the ark, all of that stuff. There's so much representation of different stories throughout history in this movie. But then that end scene, home theater wise, that battle, perceived contrast is nailed. Because the entire screen is mostly like a medium gray, right? And it's like, but then there'd be an explosion and you get the brights of the explosion, but then the black of the smoke goes deeper than what your perceived darkness is because it was awesome. And then we have the Star Wars version of On Your Left and everybody shows up. And seeing that this time, I felt like it was like 3D. Those ships popping in, and it's like seeing more and more ships, and you're like little ones, big. You're like, oh my God, that entire scene. But there's just so much more detail that I'm seeing now that I'm like, and it's partially the system's been upgraded, but it's my probably 20th viewing of this. So it's like, you start to look at other things and stuff, but it's just so good. So good.
Whereas I think this is only my second viewing of the 4K disc, but like I said, if you have the disc, you will need to bump it 5 dB just to get that extra thing. That's not me. All the reviews of the disc said the same thing, and it does unlock it. I know I've said volume doesn't mean good sound, but just that extra, just goosing it just unlocks the track, and it sounds amazing then. So just remember that if you've got the disc and you're going to revisit it after now, don't forget. All right, just looking at the time, guys. Geez, sorry.
No, I know you got to get going, but awesome disc, awesome movie. Love it. And then just one tease. I did say in the Takeover Tuesday there'd be a special episode coming out on Friday. First time heard here on a Bright Side Home Theater. I'll be bringing the chat that I had about Rise of Skywalker with my daughter. So, nice. But we did that on chat during Christmas break because John took the week off at the time, and I was like, "Oh, we came in, and I think we talked for like 2 hours." And she has some unique perspectives during that I didn't realize at the time. So it was really good. It's like it was like, because of Rise of Skywalker being, Rey. So I was like, oh, let's get a woman's point of view. She was 20 at the time when we did this. So now she's all grown up. Look at her. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We will get Steve to bed on time. So everybody, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, listening, participating. Patrons, thank you very much. If you're not a patron, hey, $1 a month, boy, would go a long way if everybody did it. Really appreciate that. But yeah, we're climbing up there. We're getting almost a patron a week here and there. So if you're shy, just go to patreon.com/BrightSideHomeTheater. It's $1 a month. So, all right, that'll do it. Steve's got to go to bed. I got to get something to eat. John's got to pee. But until next time,
got it.
Until next time, you know what you got to do.
Go push play.
What he said.
That is right.
Hey, Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.